This map shows your territory. 3 villages, 200 kilometers of frozen road, 463 people. You are the only doctor. This is the road between them. No hospital, no ambulance, no specialist on call, no helicopter that can fly in weather like this. If something goes wrong here, a heart attack, a difficult birth, a child who stops breathing, you are the only thing standing between a person and death. In this video, you'll see and feel what that's like, the weight of it, the choices it demands, of being the only doctor here, and why anyone would stay. Your day literally begins in darkness. You walk to the clinic through air so cold it feels solid. The door lock sometimes resists as a result of the ice metal contracts at -40, and the key needs enough trial and error before opening. Inside, the stove is dead. The room is 5 degrees. You light a match, coax the fire, and wait for warmth to remember this place. For 200 kilometers in any direction, in here is the only room where help exists. Firstly, you check your supplies. Bandages, basic antibiotics, pain medication, measured in doses, not bottles. In here, these are what is missing. No X-ray machine, no ultrasound, no blood bank, no defibrillator, no surgeon you can call, no pharmacy that delivers. What you have in this cabinet are half-empty shelves. These bottles with expiration dates you've already stretched is everything. There is no shipment coming until the ice road opens in 3 weeks. 1 table. A stethoscope your professor gave you 8 to 9 years ago. A blood pressure cuff with a crack in the gauge that you've learned to compensate for. A thermometer, a flashlight, tongue depressors you sterilize and reuse because replacements are 400 kilometers away. These available tools must diagnose. These available tools must treat. These available tools must be enough. Because there is nothing else. Today, your first patient is 4 years old. Her mother carries her in like something that might break. The child's face is flushed, not the red of cold, but the red of fever that's been building for 2 days. Eyes glassy and fatigue. Breathing too fast. You take her gently, unwrap the layers, place your stethoscope cold metal on hot skin, and she flinches but doesn't cry because she's too tired to cry. You take a look at her throat, red and swollen. The lungs is clear, thank God. Ears, normal. Probably a bacterial respiratory infection, you think. You're almost certain. You prescribe from your limited stock 3 days of antibiotics, paracetamol for the fever. The mother nods, takes the medicine, holds her daughter tight. She trusts you. She has no choice. Your second patient of the day has been yours for 12 years. Gregor Nikolaevich, 73, chronic heart failure. He walks in slowly, leans his cane against the desk like he's parking a car, and sits down with the patience of someone who has been doing this longer than you have. You check his pulse. 62. Irregular, but familiar. You know his heart's rhythm, the way a musician knows a song they've played 1,000 times. Blood pressure, elevated. You adjust his medication. Then you ask about his grandson. This is the part they don't teach in medical school. In a city, you treat a patient, but here, you treat a life. You know his whole story, the wife he lost, the son who moved to Yakutsk, the grandson who sends letters he can't read without his glasses. You are not just his doctor. You are the only one who remembers. Between patients, you sit at your desk. The clinic is quiet. The stove ticks. The clock measures seconds that feel slower than usual. The radio on the wall crackles. Static, then silence. You stare at it. Your pen hovers over Gregor's file. You know that one day, maybe today, maybe next week, maybe at 3 in the morning when the temperature drops to -55, the call will come that you cannot answer. The distance will be too far, the injury too severe, the weather too cruel. And someone will die because there is only one of you. You go back to writing. The radio doesn't crackle, but this time, it screams. From Village 2, 55 kilometers east, a man, 41, a father, a woodcutter, fell through thin ice on the river, pulled himself out, but couldn't stand. His leg is wrong. He's shivering violently. The family dragged him home, but he's getting worse. Hypothermia, probable compound fracture. Cannot be moved. You ask, over the radio, what color is his skin? How long ago? Is he conscious? Can he move his toes? You calculate in your head a 55 kilometers, 90 minutes on the snowmobile. Add 15 for loading supplies. The temperature is -38 and falling. You close Gregor's file. You must go. Every item is a choice. Bandages enough for a compound fracture, not enough for a second emergency. Antibiotics, 3 courses left, you take 2. Pain relief morphine, your last dose. Thermal blanket. Splint materials, surgical tape. You hesitate over the suture kit. Take it. Put it back. Take it again. The bag weighs 11 kilos when you lift it. It feels heavier than that. The snowmobile sits in -38 like a dead animal. You turn the key. Nothing. The engine doesn't even try. Again, a grinding noise, metal fighting cold, oil thick as honey, refusing to flow. Third try, the engine coughs, catches, sputters, then holds rough, reluctant, but alive. You pull on your goggles. Wrap the scarf until only your eyes show. The village disappears behind you. Ahead, a single track through white emptiness. An hour and a half of cold that will kill you if the machine stops. You don't think about the cold. You keep thinking about the math. 55 kilometers at 40 kilometers per hour. Factor in snow depth. Factor in visibility. The ice fog is rolling in, cutting your sight to 30 meters. At minute 40, you realize you can't feel your left hand. You stop, remove the glove. Force the fingers to bend, they resist like wood. You breathe on them. Flex, replace the glove. The man with the broken leg has been waiting 2 hours. His body is losing heat faster than you're losing feeling. You keep going. The house appears through the fog like a hallucination, small, wooden, chimney smoking. You kill the engine. The silence is immediate and total. Then the door opens, and they pour out a woman whose face is a geography of fear, a teenager who grabs your arm and pulls, an old woman who simply says your name as if it's a prayer. You step inside. The warmth hits you like diving into water. And on the bed, a man who is trying very hard not to scream. His leg is wrong. You've seen enough fractures to know this is displaced, the bone has shifted, and without imaging, you can't see how far. But you can feel it. You press your fingers along the shin. Feel the gap where continuity should be. 2 centimeters of displacement, angulated laterally. A city doctor would order an X-ray, consult an orthopedist, schedule surgery. You have your hands, and 9 years of touching what you cannot see. You position your grip. You tell him to breathe, in and out. And with a slight pull and shift to the left, you had set the displaced bone. The sound is small and wet, just like stepping on a branch buried in mud. He groans through clenched teeth. His wife turns away. His mother closes her eyes. You splint, wrap, inject in the last of your morphine. You don't tell them you're not sure this will be enough. You're adjusting his bandages when the radio crackles again. Not again, you murmured. This time it's from Village 3, 62 kilometers northwest. A woman in labor, her 3rd child. But something is wrong. The baby isn't turning. The midwife's voice is the kind of calm that means she's terrified. You look at the man with the broken leg. Then at the radio. 2 emergencies, 50+ kilometers apart. One of you. The math is impossible. There is no right answer. You choose. You cannot drive 62 kilometers and leave a hypothermic man with a fresh fracture alone. You cannot ignore a woman whose baby won't turn. So you do the impossible. You raise the radio. Speak calmly, clearly, as if your heart isn't hammering. You tell the midwife to feel for the baby's position. She describes it. You visualize rotating your own hands in the air, mapping a body you cannot see onto a body you cannot touch. You talk her through an external cephalic version, step by step. Your left hand holds the radio. Your right rests on the injured man's arm. Two patients, 50 kilometers apart, connected by a radio, and your voice, and years of refusing to give up. Heavy breathing. But not yours. It's the midwife's on the other end, the woman's. The room full of people you will never see. Minutes pass. Then a sound, small, wet, angry. It's the baby, a baby crying. 50 kilometers away, through the static radio and cold and distance that should make this impossible, a newborn fills its lungs for the first time and screams at the world. Your eyes close, your shoulders drop. Something behind your ribs unclenches for the first time in 3 hours. Then it's gone, back to steady. Because there's still a man beside you with a broken leg and a morphine drip that's running out. Sometimes impossible works. You drive home in the dark. Stars everywhere. No moon. The headlamp makes a tunnel of light through the blackness, and you follow it. Your body has reached the stage of exhaustion where cold becomes theoretical. You know it's -42. You can feel it in the way the snowmobile handles the oil thickening, the track stiffening, but your bones have stopped caring. The village lights appear. Small, warm, the only lights for 100 kilometers. They look like stars that fell to earth and decided to stay. You enter into the clinic, hang your coat, sit down. A knock. A teenager. Cough. Nothing serious. You could send him away. You could tell him to come tomorrow. No one would blame you. You examine, prescribe, and wave him by. Then turn off the lights. All except one. You leave a lamp burning in the window. Because someone might still need to find this place tonight. You stand at your window, tea in your hands, steam rising. Outside, the village sleeps. Beyond it, nothing. The same road that opened this story, the same distance, the same silence. You could leave, train someone, retire to the city where hospitals have operating rooms and MRI machines and pharmacies that never run out. But these faces, the faces of people here, the child with the fever whose mother held her like the world was ending, the old man whose heart you've memorized over 12 years, the woodcutter who clenched his teeth while you set his leg by feel, the woman who gave birth while you talked a terrified midwife through it over a crackling radio 50 kilometers away. They're yours now, not because you own them, because they own you, and no one else will come. So you stay. Not because you're a hero. Heroes arrive and leave. You stay because if you don't, the lamp in the window goes dark. And in this kind of cold, darkness kills. If stories like this one stay with you, I'd be glad to have you here. There are more quiet truths from the coldest places on Earth. Thank you for watching.